5th annual Nguyen and Kimmy Scholarship Award ceremony. Please rise for the national anthem. National Anthem of the United States. National Anthem of the Republic of Vietnam. A moment of silence to honor and remember our ancestors who laid the foundation for our success. To honor and remember the men and women in uniform who sacrificed their life for our freedom. The moment begins. The moment ends. Please be seated. Nên thợ, nên thầy chỉ có học, nó ăn, nó mặc bởi hay làm. Truyền thống hiếu học của người Việt Nam chẳng những đã được truyền từ thế hệ này sang thế hệ khác, từ cô Kim Mỹ Dương qua đến các em học sinh Việt Nam qua nhiều năm qua, mà truyền thống tốt đẹp đó còn được loan truyền đến cho các cộng đồng sắc dân bạn. Chỉ sau 5 năm ngắn ngủi, giải học bổng Long Nguyễn và Kimmy Dương Foundation đã tạo tiếng vang lớn trong các trường đại học với học sinh của nhiều sắc dân khác nhau tại Virginia. Học thầy, không thầy học bạn, chẳng những học từ thầy, chẳng những học từ bạn, mà cô Kim Mỹ Dương còn muốn loan truyền việc học cho tất cả mọi người, không phân biệt màu da, sắc tộc. Việc cô đang làm là quảng bá truyền thống văn hóa tốt đẹp của người Việt Nam vậy. As a refugee coming to the United States empty-handed in 1975 after the Vietnam War, Ms. Dương knows the importance of a good education. A good education to survive. A good education to contribute to new society. She had always invested in education for herself and for people surrounding her. Following a successful 25-year career at IBM, which is a wonderful achievement by itself, she joined Pragmatics Inc. Currently, she serves as Pragmatics Vice Chairperson and Chief Financial Officer. After many successful and important charitable initiatives, Ms. Duong and her husband, Dr. Nguyen, decided to launch the Nguyen and Kimmy Duong Scholarship Program. Dr. Nguyen is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Pragmatics Inc. The program rose exponentially after a short 5 years. Today, the program is able to award 87 scholarships to students from 7 universities and colleges in Virginia. Very humble, never forget her root, caring for mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Kimmy Duong.
Kính chào các anh chị, các cháu và các bạn. Là một vinh hạnh lớn cho Kimmy Duong được đón chào mọi người và trong các em ăn dịp các em nhận học bổng Nguyen and Kimmy Duong. Kimmy Duong Foundation là một tổ chức từ thiện với mục đích là giúp đỡ trong những lĩnh vực học vấn, xã hội và nhân đạo. Chúng tôi cũng chỉ muốn được giúp được cho xã hội mình thêm phần tốt đẹp. Sau đây tôi xin hỏi. Good morning, dear honored guests and scholarship recipients. It is an honor for me to be here to have an opportunity to talk to you about the scholarship. And this is our 5th annual scholarship award ceremony. Your presence telling me that your support for this program, and we appreciate. This is the 5th year of our scholarship program. It has grown quite a lot. From the first year, we award only 12 scholarships, and today is 87 scholarships and 700% increase. Also, the first year we awarded only 4 college and university, and this year we are 7 college and university. So we increase not only the number of students, scholarship, but increase the number of schools. I hope one day we can award 100 of scholarship to many more colleges, university students. We all know education is cornerstone of life. Supporting a person to get a good education can transform his and her life for good. It could change their life and their destiny. That is the reason why the education is so important to me and to my family. It is important to us to recognize that education is an investment in our future, and that is provide the best return of any kind of investment. In the society like US, education is the key for advancement. Today we are successful professionals thanks to America. Thanks to your investment in us, I would like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation and our gratitude. Now it is the turn for us to support you, our next generation. That is one of the reasons we established Kimmy Duong Foundation. Its goal is providing education, humanitarian, and support for the Vietnamese and American community. I hope you will excel in the future with our guidance and support. American investment in us has produced a good return, and I hope our investment in you will have equally or better return. I'm good. So I would like to remind scholarship recipient that you receive what you receive from the university, from school, from donor, is our investment in you. Please use this opportunity to make good choices for you. You are the only one that make the real difference for your life, for yourself, and hard work does pay off. Please do not take anything for granted. I hope in 5, 10, 20 years from now, you will be a success story for Vietnamese and American community, for our country, and that you will be back here to support our next generation. We look forward to hearing about your future success. Today, you will have a chance to listen to our keynote speaker, Dr. Len Zhao Si, IWB founder. He will give you a guidance and experience that will help you to be successful in the future. You also have a chance to listen to message and guidance for your school provost, dean, school representative. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my team. They are working so hard, day and night, review so many applications. And as you know, when the program grows, they will have to work a lot harder. So, Mrs. Nguyen, Mr. Nguyen, Dr. Nguyen, Mr. Nguyen, Dr. Sarah Bui, Dr. Vinh Nguyen, Dr. Hiu Bui, Dr. Hiu Thi Nguyen, Dr. Nguyen Cam Nguyen, Mr. Mai Yokum, Mrs. Linda Weiss, Dr. Sung Nguyen, Dr. Kang Sung Nguyen, Dr. Ngọc Hà Nguyen, Mr. Mai Bauer, Mr. Dennis Nguyen, Dr. Phương Anh Đặng Tổ, and Mr. Phương Nhật Lập. Again, I would like to thank you for coming here today to share with us our great moment for awarding our great scholarship recipient. And after this, I would like to introduce to you Kimmy Duong Foundation Director, Mr. Nguyen.
For the Nguyen and Kimmy Duong Annual Scholarship and Award Ceremony. First of all, I'd like to congratulate this year's award recipients, and also I'd like to thank the Kimmy Duong Foundation for providing the recipients with a wonderful opportunity to be able to pursue their dream. As mentioned previously, the importance of a good education was instilled in us at a very young age. And now, as we have become successful with our rewarding careers, my aunt and uncle have once again instilled in us the belief that you must always help the people who are in need and are less fortunate than we are. To this year's award winners, our committee would like to congratulate you all for your outstanding achievement and remarkable personal growth. We have no doubt that each and every one of you will excel in all of your future endeavor and will contribute greatly to our society. Always remember, material things will fade, but knowledge will stay. Thank you for your attention, and once again, congratulations.
Xin cảm ơn anh Hải. Kính thưa quý phụ huynh, quý vị quan khách, thân mến chào tất cả các em sinh viên. Hôm nay chúng ta rất hân hạnh có được sự tham dự của tiến sĩ John Lensowski, là người sáng lập và là cựu viện trưởng Học viện Chính trị Thế giới Institute of World Politics IWP tại thủ đô Hoa Thành Đô. Sẽ có đôi lời nhắn nhủ đến các sinh viên được giải học bổng hôm nay. Xin được giới thiệu tiến sĩ Lensowski bằng Anh ngữ. Ladies and gentlemen, the program keynote speaker today initially would be Ambassador Adorna Vos, who is also the interim president of the Institute of World Politics IWP. Unfortunately, due to her health condition, she's not able to join us today. Instead, we are greatly honored to have Dr. John Lensowski, who will address the keynote speech. Dr. Lensowski is the founder, President Emeritus, and Chancellor of IWP. During the Cold War with the Soviet Union, Dr. Lensowski served on a congressional staff in the State Department and at the National Security Council. While serving as the Special Advisor for the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, Dr. Lensowski played a major role in strengthening and modernizing the Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. These broadcasters are the media weapons to counter Soviet disinformation, to connect with the oppressed people living under communism, to give them truth and democratic ideas, and to give them courage to reclaim their human rights. These broadcasters were a major factor in helping the people of the Soviet Empire bring about political change. From 1983 to 1987, he was Principal Soviet Affairs Advisor to President Reagan, dedicating in the U.S. Cold War strategy development that contributed to the collapse of the Soviet Empire. After his government service, he founded IWP, which is an independent graduate school of National Security, Intelligence, and National Affairs in Washington, D.C., where he served as the president for 31 years. IWP is the only school dedicated to teaching all the arts of statecraft and how these arts are integrated into national strategy. With a faculty of scholar practitioners, IWP successfully prepares and places its students in a wide variety of positions where they have the opportunity to make a major difference in serving the cause of peace and national security. Without further ado,
Please join me in welcoming Chancellor of the Institute of World Politics, Dr. John Lexowski.
The scholarship program was made possible by many things that many Americans take for granted. And one of these is the extraordinary freedom that America offers its own citizens and those immigrants who are fortunate enough and determined enough to come here. It is this freedom that has made America, more than any other country in the world, the land of opportunity. It is a place where no matter who you are, if you work hard, keep your promises, deliver a product that meets other people's needs, and you do so with courtesy, efficiency, and reliability, you'll be rewarded. More than any other country in the world, America doesn't care into which family you were born or in which neighborhood you grew up. It cares about your character and your service to others. Kimmy and Dr. Long arrived here as refugees from Vietnam, and it was exactly their hard work, character, and successful efforts to meet the needs of others in the marketplace that they have built such a great company, Pragmatics, and earned the privilege to help others in the way that they do. At a time in our nation's cultural life when so many denigrate the history of this country because of the sins of some of our ancestors, it is critically important to recognize one of the great things about America. That is our cultural impulse to acknowledge our sins, to atone for them, and to work on self-improvement. Americans have endeavored to do this and continue to do so. And we need to give credit to the system that makes this possible. Our entire constitutional order is based on what our founders recognized to be the flawed nature of man. As James Madison said, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. But men are not angels and never will be made so by any kind of social or political engineering. And so our founders set up a system designed to protect us from the inevitable times when those in power will succumb to the temptation to do the wrong thing. This is a very rare and precious system in world history, and it has given us the freedom to enable people like Kimmy and Dr. Long to rise to the highest level of their God-given abilities. Their scholarship program was made possible precisely due to their commitment to the values and principles that underlie our system. That commitment is so clearly manifest in the criteria for winning these scholarships. One criterion is demonstrating knowledge and appreciation of one's cultural heritage, both Vietnamese and American. Why is this so important? Because understanding one's own cultural background and one's history is essential to maintaining a national and cultural memory, which in turn is critical to maintaining a national and cultural identity. This is a particular challenge today because the promoters of radical ideologies such as communism distort history to destroy national memory and thereby to remake identity. This is a project that totalitarians have consistently used as part of their utopian effort to remake human nature and in the process seize and secure power for themselves. The antidote is honest history. I've referred to a key feature of America's history, but let me note that honest history about Vietnam And to give just one example, pride in Vietnam's historic resistance to Chinese imperialism has strengthened Vietnamese national identity and the Vietnamese people's ability to continue that resistance. A demonstrated commitment to freedom, democracy, and human rights is another criterion for these scholarships. Suffice it to say that these are the values and principles of America. They don't exist nearly to the same degree in other places, and that's why so many millions of people take enormous risks to come here for all of our nation's imperfections. A third test for winning one of these scholarships is demonstrating leadership potential. Here, it's critical to understand what that means. Genuine leadership does not mean the ability to issue commands. What it does mean is the ability to inspire others to accomplish a worthy mission, to set a good example by one's behavior, to respect the dignity of those with whom you work and whom you might eventually lead, to understand the needs of others and have a vision of how to meet them, and to think strategically about the array of means by which that vision might be achieved. Often, leadership is accompanied by the word moral leadership. What's that? It's precisely doing the right thing all the time, especially when nobody is looking. It means never succumbing to the constant temptations that we face to do the wrong thing. This is the ultimate in setting a good example. A fourth criterion for these scholarships is a demonstrated passion to make the world a better place. There are many ways of conceiving what this means, especially when one thinks about global solutions. There are many of these apparent solutions can be found in radical ideologies. But many of these ideologies have proven to have terrible human costs. One of the grand solutions, one of the grand goals to make the world a better place is to work for world peace. It's a most worthy goal. But world peace, like all these other global solutions, is an extremely difficult goal to accomplish. Much can be said about this. But let's remember an important little prayer. It goes, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." Bringing peace in your relations with others is something that you can actually accomplish. And maybe it can teach you how to bring peace on a larger scale. The fifth criterion for winning a scholarship is demonstrating community service. There are so many ways of doing this because there are many little communities within the larger community in which you live. Whatever way and to whatever community you contribute, the key word here is service. It means putting others before yourself. The spirit of service to others is the common theme in every one of the ideals underlying this noble scholarship program. And please note, this very program is a magnificent example of Kimmy's and Dr. Long's service to the community. They could lavish their well-earned rewards upon themselves. But no, they don't. They're thinking about you and doing their best to help. At VATV, the graduate school where I work, we have an ethos that prizes each of these ideals. Our students come to us to study the conduct of the different instruments of national power in order to serve the cause of peace and national security. They all want good jobs, or to advance in the jobs that they already have. The question we pose to them, and that I pose to you, scholarship winners, is, with what spirit will you pursue those jobs? Will you be a careerist Or will you be mission-oriented? Do you want to be somebody? Or do you want to do something good? You have to choose. The careerist wants to be somebody. He or she wants the job, the promotion, the credit, the glory, the power, the money, the bureaucratic empire, the corner office, and so forth. It's all about him or her. The mission-oriented person wants to do something good. He or she puts the mission first. Such people have the spirit of service. They're ready to serve their family, their neighbor, their customer, their organization, their community, and their country. They serve a cause higher than themselves. We at IWP argue that if you choose to be mission-oriented, you will get most of the things that the careerist wants, but you will never sacrifice your honor to get them. You might not get them quite as fast as some of the cleverest bureaucratic maneuverers, but you'll get them. And indeed, if you credibly persuade a future employer that you'll put the mission first of his or her organization, you're more likely to get that job in the first place. And this is ultimately a matter of good character. All of this is a matter of good character. And good character does not come automatically. It comes only when one is conscious of the existence of virtues and works to cultivate those virtues so that they become habits. Habits become your destiny. So thank you for listening. Congratulations to all of you who have won these scholarships. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lenzowski, for your wisdom. If you want to follow his work, he has a lot of writing on IWP website. He also appears on Salt Lake YouTube channel to share wisdom there as well. So once again, sir, thank you, and we always look up to you, literally. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Nguyen to join me on stage for the award presentation. Dr. Nguyen.
Dear honored guests, parents, and recipients, I'm very honored to be here today to be given the opportunity to present to you the recipient of the Kimmy Foundation Scholarship Program for the school year 2022-2023. The scholarship program has grown tremendously over the past several years. Thanks to Ms. Yu's tremendous effort to reach out to as many qualified students as possible. I'm excited to announce to you some of the new features of the program, including the addition of the Virginia Commonwealth University to the school being considered, the addition of the Diamond Scholarship, which awarded its recipient $3,000 each. This year, we have 120 applicants who have gone through very extensive, rigorous selection process, judging them on their academic achievement, community service, leadership ability, their appreciation and promotion of their cultural heritage, leading to what we call a composite score, broad impact, which basically a just assessment of how important an applicant's contribution would be for the welfare of our society in the near future. And this year, the 8 students with the top score are being awarded the Diamond Scholarship, $3,000 each. Next, we have 62 students awarded the Gold Scholarship, $2,000 each, and 11 students with the Silver Scholarship. Speaking for myself and probably for many of the judges, we were faced with very difficult decisions many times during the selection process because we were dealing with extremely qualified applicants. So to all the recipients here today, the big congratulations. You should all be very proud of yourself. And we're all eagerly awaiting to hear from you all, hopefully in a very near future, many new, wonderful, exciting achievements. And now we'll be moving on to the award presentation, what we've all been waiting for. I'd like to take a brief moment to describe to you how the presentation will proceed. We will award the presentation one school at a time. As I announce the name of the school, Mr. Vo will invite that school representative to come up to the podium to give his or her remarks. After giving the remark, the representative will move to the left of the stage to meet and receive the student from his or her school. As I then will announce the name of the recipient moves across the stage to meet his or her sponsor. The sponsor and the recipient would then have the opportunity to have a picture taken together. As we have sponsored with several students consecutively, we will ask that the sponsor remain on the stage until the presentation of their last student. After receive the award, the recipient will move to the back of the stage to wait until the end of their school presentation. At that time, all the recipients will be invited to come forward to the stage to have their picture taken with their school representative. We will kindly ask that you all hold your applause until the end of the presentation. And I do apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name. And with that, we would now moving forward to the beginning, that would be the award to the recipient from Montgomery College.
Representing Montgomery College, MC, Ms. Joy Matthews. As Senior Vice President for Advancement and Community Engagement, Joy oversees the college communication team, community engagement, special event, grants, and sponsor program, PIC, MC, and development. Joy MC in April 2019 after a 30-year career at Penn State. She has served in several leadership roles, including the Director of Admission for 19 campuses, the Director of Research and Prospect Tracking, and the Director of Development for the Business College, the College of Information Sciences and Technology, and the Ivy College of Science. She has a master's degree in counseling from Penn State and a BA from Chippenburg University in Journalism and Public Relations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Joy Matthews.
Good morning and thank you. The first time I met Miss Kimmy was at this event in 2019, and I recognized immediately what an inspired life she is living and what a powerful, positive force she is in this world. And I remember looking out at the audience, at the scholarship recipients, and trying to imagine how meaningful it must be for them to have her support and uplifting confidence in their future. It was not a stretch to think that it would be a life-altering experience for them. And here you all are today, having that same earned experience. You were not only supported by Miss Kimmy and her foundation, but you're surrounded by a multi-generational fan club of individuals who love you and who are excited to watch the inspired life that you will live. So congratulations to each and every one of you. To the scholarship recipients heading to Montgomery College, I can say something that I have not been able to say before. When you arrive on the Rockville campus to register, to get academic advising, to take a class, to go to a student club meeting, you're going to proudly walk through the doors of the Long Nguyen and Kimmy Dung Student Services Center. It's a beautiful place, and I can't wait to see you there and watch your story unfold in ways that none of us can imagine just yet. I know you will do great things, and I will be a resource person for you to help you in any way that I can. We have a brand new president, Dr. Jermaine F. Williams, who sends his very best to you today as well. He will be on the campus to greet our students, and I hope you will seek him out. He is also an inspirational leader and is another positive force in the world. You are on an important journey, and I know that you take this seriously and gratefully. Again, my congratulations to you and your family.
We will now begin with the presentation to the recipient from Montgomery College. First, we have Silver Scholar Nguyen. She's a sophomore in general study. She said, "I won't let myself down because even during the moments of hesitancy or doubt, my conscientious effort had led my aspiration to fruition." Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Mr. and Mrs. Roy Kemhausen. I would like to remind everyone to hold your applause please until the end of the school presentation. Next, we have Gold Scholar Miss Emily Duong. She's a senior in biological science. She used a code by confusion. And remember, no matter where you go, there you are. And her scholarship is being sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Miss Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Miss Sophia Duong. She's a freshman in biological science. She said, "My Vietnamese heritage has taught me to appreciate the people around me and persevere through any difficulties." Her scholarship is sponsored and also presented by Dr. Nguyen and Miss Kimmy. That will conclude the presentation to the award recipient from Montgomery College. We will now moving on to a presentation to the recipient from University of Maryland.
Representing UMD, Dr. Kiger is a Keystone Professor and Professor of Mechanical Engineering and serves as the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Program for the A. James Clark School of Engineering. Having earned a BS Aerospace Engineering from the University of Southern California and a PhD Applied Mechanics from the University of California, San Diego. Prior to his appointment as Associate Dean, he served as the Director of Undergraduate Study for the Department of Mechanical Engineering, helping to usher the department through a period of sustained enrollment growth of nearly 200%, while maintaining the quality and improving the national reputation. He is a founding member of the A. James Clark School of Engineering Keystone Academy and has helped to revise and teach ENET 100 Introduction to Engineering as well as ENET 221 Dynamics. As recognition of his sustained excellence and commitment to instructional and mentoring activities, he was awarded the USM War of Region Faculty Award for Teaching, the Poole and Kane Senior Faculty Teaching Award, and named as Philip Merrill Presidential Scholar Mentor. His research is in the area of experimental fluid mechanics, with special focus on multi-phase turbulent flow and biofluid mechanics. He has over 70 referee journal and conference publications with over 2,300 citations. Google Scholar. and an age index of 19 and had generated over 13.5 million in sponsored research, including as a PI or co-PI during his career. He is the recipient of the National Science Foundation Career Award and has served as the Associate Editor for Experimental, Thermal, and Fluid Sciences. Please welcome Dr. Tiger.
Thank you so much for having me here today, and a huge thank you to the Kimmy Nguyen Foundation for your incredible generosity in providing educational and humanitarian support for Vietnamese and American communities. I'm honored to be here today with fellow university leaders, but I'm even more honored to be in the presence of these very accomplished students, not just from the University of Maryland, but students from our neighboring colleges, George Mason University, Virginia Polytechnic Institute, University of Virginia, Northern Virginia Community College, Montgomery College, and Virginia Commonwealth University. Knowing that these students were chosen to receive scholarships by demonstrating their outstanding academic achievement, strong leadership potential, and desire to support a better world, you are the best and the brightest, and you should be very proud of your achievements. To the students here today, you are fortunate to be receiving financial assistance from the Kimmy Nguyen Foundation, and as the Associate Dean of Engineering at the University of Maryland, I charge you with a mission. Do not forget those who made it possible for you to be here today, whether it be your parents, this foundation, or a teacher or faculty member who inspired you. Remember to pay that generosity forward by giving back to your community as you progress throughout your career. In using your time and talents to better the community around you, you'll be making this generosity more worthwhile. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations to all students and scholarship recipients.
Now from University of Maryland, please welcome Diamond Scholar, Mr. Justin Pham, freshman planning to major in computer science. Mr. Pham said, as a Vietnamese American, sacrifice means learning and following my Vietnamese heritage to the fullest extent. I hope to strengthen future generation of my Vietnamese community and help develop their own uniquely Vietnamese story. His scholarship is sponsored and presented by Mr. Nguyen and Dr. Pamela Yu. Next, we have another Diamond Scholar, Ms. Linh T.T. Nguyen. She's a sophomore in architectural technology. Ms. Nguyen said, I came alone to the USA in January 2019 in the pursuit of my dream. And I want to inspire all Vietnamese women who think that their gender and their upbringings are limitations to step out their comfort zone and contribute to society. Her scholarship is sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Phu Quoc and family, and will also present on their behalf by Mr. Nguyen and Dr. Pamela Yu. Next, we have Silver Scholar, Mr. Kabadeo Boyayu. He's a junior in agricultural business. He said, I'm so passionate about doing the right thing. Given my background, I can't afford to squander any opportunity that comes my way. I'm not flawless, but I do my best. Many people look up to me, particularly my friends and family. His scholarship is sponsored by Mrs. Barbara Vo and will be presented on her behalf by Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Ashley Henriquez. She's a senior in electrical engineering. She said, I plan to continue contributing to my community throughout the rest of my academic career and beyond. I will continue to hold dear my heritage and our story, while continue to navigate through higher education and life more generally. Her scholarship is sponsored by Conjero and will be presented by Mr. Duong and Mrs. Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Joyna Kausha. She's a sophomore in aerospace engineering. She said, growing up in a community where women are discouraged to be an engineer, I want to be a role model and a voice for them. Her scholarship is also sponsored by Conjero and will be presented by Mr. Duong and Mrs. Duong. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Mr. Chen Tuang Ha. He's a senior in business finance. He said, growing up Vietnamese American has not been easy and would not become easier, but has built me into the person I am today. And I can't be any more thankful for what I have experienced. His scholarship is sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Lạc Dương and family and will be presented by Dr. Anh Đào, Dr. Anh Thư, and Ms. Nguyen Anh Dương. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Mr. Minh Trung Ha. He's a freshman in computer science. He said, throughout my life, my Vietnamese heritage has always been an integral part of who I am. The knowledge about the Vietnamese language deepened my connection to my family and culture. His scholarship is also sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Lạc Dương and family and presented by Dr. Anh Đào, Dr. Anh Thư, and Mr. Anh Dương. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Mr. Kurt Claus Jr. He's a sophomore in aerospace engineering. He said, by keeping the story of my family member close to my heart so that I continue to inspire me each and every day. I believe that my aspiration and passion would thrive. I look forward to seeing who I myself will inspire and lead in the future. His scholarship is sponsored by USI and will be presented by Mr. David Marcy. Next, we have Diamond Scholar, Ms. Marilyn Nguyen. She's a freshman planning to major in information system. Ms. Nguyen said, all the values and beliefs that my parents have passed down to me and that I have built from my experiences around my Vietnamese ethnicity has sculpted how I am today. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Mrs. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Mr. Ethan Lạc. He's a sophomore in engineering. Mr. Lạc said, I know the values of my Vietnamese culture, the enduring love of Vietnamese parents, and the friendship I made for my newfound Vietnamese community will motivate me and allow me to keep pushing to achieve all my goals. His scholarship sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Yu. We have Diamond Scholar, Mr. Can you rewind the slide? We have Gold Scholar, Mr. Ryan Putamana. His scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Mrs. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Mr. Vincent Lang. He's a senior in engineering. He said, the story of how my family made it to the state is truly phenomenal, and it inspired me to carry on the family legacy as a proud Chinese American. His scholarship sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Bảo Vi Hoài Lý. She's a senior in biological sciences. She said, witnessing the condition that my family had to endure in Vietnam inspired me to use my college degree to help underdeveloped countries improve their healthcare system. Her scholarship is also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Laura Mendoza. She's a freshman, majored in criminology and criminal justice. She said, growing up in Bolivia had taught me many lessons as I got older. One of the biggest value that I acquired was the value and significance of family. Her scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar Mr. Brian Nguyen. He's a freshman in computer science. He said, no matter how much wealth I accumulate in life, none of that dictates my success, but rather the impact you make on the life of the people around you. His scholarship also sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Ms. Angeline Pham. She's a sophomore in computer science. She said, my grandma once told me that I regret letting go of my Vietnamese culture. At the time, her lecture seemed harsh, but it made me realize that I have full control to become a better version of myself, who I have masked for years. Her scholarship also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Jasmine Pham. She's a junior in public health sciences. She chose a quote by Booker T. Washington. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Her scholarship also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Mr. Vincent Pham. He's a sophomore in computer engineering. He said, Vietnamese heritage will always be a part of who I am and was a critical part of building my character. His scholarship also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Daisy Jung. She's a freshman in biochemistry. She says, speaking Vietnamese play a vital role in who I become. Being Vietnamese has made me a person who embraces culture, family, and tradition. Her scholarship also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Thục Anh Trần. She's a sophomore in civil engineering. She said, I have never had to doubt my future and security in pursuing higher education. It's all due to my parents' effort. The same effort made by thousands of Vietnamese refugees for their Vietnamese American children. Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. And we are coming to the last recipient from University of Maryland. We have Gold Scholar Ms. Vina Võ. She's a sophomore in computer science. She said, I have come to realize that my Vietnamese American identity is nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, it can be a huge advantage. A scholarship sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. And that will conclude the presentation to the recipients of University of Maryland.
Okay, do a shop on me. Move on. Okay, that's good. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, everyone. We are now moving forward to the award to the recipient from the Virginia Commonwealth University.
Representing VCU, Magnus Johnson's served as a Senior Associate Vice President of Presidential and University Philanthropy at Virginia Commonwealth University. In this role, he works closely with VCU President Michael Rao, while also leading university efforts in principal giving, gift planning, and corporate and foundation relations. Magnus first joined VCU in 2007 as the Executive Director of External Relations at the VCU School of Education before moving to his present role in 2015. Previous to this, Magnus held several non-profit leadership roles in the Richmond area. Magnus received his undergraduate degree from James Madison University and his master's degree in public administration from VCU. He is a 2015 graduate of leadership major Richmond, a dual national between his parent home country of Finland and the US. Magnus resides in Richmond, Virginia with his significant other, Karen, and their two rescued Siberian Huskies. Please welcome Magnus Johnson.
Thank you for such a kind introduction, and it's really an honor for us to be here today. This is actually the first year VCU has been part of this scholarship program, and for that we're very honored. I'm here today to represent our president, Michael Rao. He's actually on a trip to India presently for some international student recruitment. So I will mention Michael Rao starting his 14th year at VCU, and we're very fortunate to have his inspiring and committed leadership. Giving you just a quick background to why I'm here today and how we got involved, we had a chance to meet with Ms. Kimmy in November, Dr. Rao and I, and it was really in that meeting in November that we were invited to join and be part of the scholarship program. So for that, we are very honored, and I'm really proud to be here today to represent VCU and really be part of sharing this day with our inaugural recipients that I see standing to our right. Part of what really also distinguishes this honor, and I've heard this from some of the other speakers, is the honor to also be associated with some of the other institutions in this room in Virginia and Maryland. It's really our work together here in the Mid-Atlantic that informs workforce development, healthcare, arts and culture, and the vitality of our shared region. I was driving up from Richmond today, and I really thought to myself how fortunate we all are. Traffic aside, I really believe we live in the best region in this country, and it is our universities and colleges together that's helping make that happen. At VCU, 33% of our incoming freshmen are first-gen college students or are Pell eligible. So to our students today, and all the students I see in the room today, we're so proud of you to be selected, and you look at the criteria of the scholarship, it's not only academic achievement, but a track record of service. And my challenge to all of you is to continue to set that example for other students. So as a final comment, this again is our first year and being part of this program. So I want to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy and for their support in allowing us to be here. So thank you.
From the Virginia Commonwealth University, please welcome Gold Scholar, Ms. Minh Anh Bui. She's a junior majoring biology. She said, my past experiences with exploring my identity has made me confidently appreciate my diverse and unique heritage and culture as a Vietnamese American. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Kim Nguyen. She's a junior, majoring in health physics, education, and exercise science. Ms. Nguyen said, my heritage has ingrained me into my life the moment I was born. I absolutely love my name, regardless of how many people struggle to say it. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. We have another Gold Scholar, Ms. Diane Go. She's a sophomore majoring in biology. She said, Vietnamese and Asian culture in general has taught me to recognize beauty in the smallest detail, to appreciate all that I have, and most importantly, to love myself. Her scholarship also sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. To conclude the presentation for the the recipient from Virginia Commonwealth University. Now we will be moving on to presentation to the recipient from Virginia Tech.
Representing Virginia Tech, Dr. Thompson joined the Virginia Tech College of Engineering as Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in July 2020. He is responsible for providing leadership and support in all areas related to faculty and the matriculation of undergraduate degree seeking students, including academic planning and assessment, faculty hiring, development and support, enrollment management, curriculum development, and student services. Prior to joining Virginia Tech, Dr. Thompson spent 16 years at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville in various leadership roles and faculty member. Dr. Thompson holds a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from North Carolina State University and a Master of Science and Doctorate in Structural Engineering, both from the University of Texas at Austin. Go UT. Please welcome Dr. Thompson.
Good morning, everyone. Virginia Tech is grateful to be one of the 7 institutions represented here today. Furthermore, we are honored to have 12 Nguyen and Kimmy Duong scholarship recipients joining us this upcoming academic year in Blacksburg. The Nguyen and Kimmy Young scholarships not only increase access and affordability for students attending each of the institutions represented here, but the scholarships also provide the opportunity for these students to form their own cohort at their respective institution. This can be as simple as joining a familiar face in a dining facility, sitting next to them in a classroom, or having someone you know enjoy a movie with you on Friday night. I'm not the first person, nor will I be the last, to share that you will encounter highs and lows throughout your academic career. However, looking at all of the eager, smiling faces within this room, I encourage you to introduce yourself to the other scholars. Each of these individuals can help you to serve as an informal support network, and you can serve as a support network for them. Regardless if you are a first year or heading into your junior year, you all share the camaraderie of being Nguyen and Kimmy Young scholars. I'm aware that one of the guiding principles of the foundation is that students understand the importance of giving back to their community and pay it forward. An important way each of you can begin to give back is to support the individuals in this room. Again, it is an honor to represent Virginia Tech here today, and we look forward to seeing our students in Blacksburg in a couple of weeks. I want to also acknowledge Kimmy's willingness to change the date of this reception to July, in part to ensure the students from Virginia Tech are able to participate in the ceremony versus when the past events were held in August. Thank you, Kimmy, for making this accommodation, and congratulations to all of today's scholars.
From Virginia Tech, please welcome Silver Scholar Justin Duong. He's a freshman planning to major in neuroscience. He said, as a Vietnamese American, sacrifice means learning and following my Vietnamese heritage to the fullest extent. I hope to strengthen future generation of my Vietnamese community and help develop their own uniquely Vietnamese story. His scholarship is sponsored by Bên Em Đang Có Ta Foundation and will be presented by Mr. Duong and Mrs. Nguyen. Next, we have Silver Scholar, Ms. Lily Lin Lê. She's a junior in Business Information Technology. Ms. Lê said, thank you to my family and friends for always supporting me. Her scholarship is also sponsored by Bên Em Đang Có Ta Foundation and presented by Mr. Duong and Ms. Nguyen. we have another silver scholar, Mr. Anthony Duong. He's a sophomore in computer science. He said, being able to step out my comfort zone allowed me to take action and increase my leadership capability. His scholarship is also sponsored by Glen M. Dakota Foundation and presented by Mr. Duong and Ms. Nguyen. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Anna Nguyen. She's a junior majoring in human nutrition, food, and exercise. She said, as I progress in life, I hope to continue embracing my identity, leading me to the opportunity and experiences I needed to evolve into a better, more successful human being. Her scholarship is sponsored by Pajero and presented by Mr. Duong and Ms. Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Lin Trần Mai Pham. She's a senior in computer science. She said, my hope and dream are to use my knowledge to change the world, and it could start with something simple. Her scholarship is also sponsored by Pajero and presented by Mr. Duong and Ms. Duong. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Ms. Lin Trần Thảo Pham. She's a sophomore in computer science. She said, I want to use my story to further inspire the youth like me to pursue higher education, to dare to dream and dare to act. So one day we can give back more to the community and contribute to the fast-growing world. Her scholarship is sponsored by Pajero and presented by Mr. Duong and Mrs. Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Mr. Bảo Ho. He's a sophomore majoring in general engineering. He said, my Vietnamese heritage has taught me that what is important in life is not just the number of awards you receive, but it matters what you eat that change you and the people around you for the better. His scholarship is sponsored by Phở Việt Flair and also on their behalf presented by Mr. Duong and Mrs. Duong. Next, we have Diamond Scholar, Mr. Andrew Duong. He's a sophomore in computer science. He said, my heritage has shaped me to the person I am today by allowing me to use the knowledge I learned in school and values taught by my elders to become a wiser and more protective member of society. His scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. Next, we have Diamond Scholar, Mr. Pierre Duong. He's a freshman planning to major in computer science. He said, my desire to help other people come from my Vietnamese background because I've always been taught by my family and my church community to help people in any way possible. His scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Mrs. Kimmy. And we have a Gold Scholar, Mr. Daniel Maniquez. He's a senior in electrical engineering. He said, having German Quaker root on my mom's side and Polish root on my dad's side have instilled a strong work ethic in me and my study. His scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. And we have the last recipient from VATV, Gold Scholar, Ms. Megan Hung Ngọc Phan. She's a junior majoring in material science and engineering. She said, my Vietnamese heritage is an integral part of my identity. I'm grateful to have grown up learning about my culture. Her scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy. And with that, we conclude the presentation to the recipient of
Thì thế thì tại vì không nói nữa.
And now we will begin the award to the recipient from the Northern Virginia Community College.
Representing Nova, Dr. Yong-Woo Chang is NOVA VP of Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer. Dr. Chang's professional background spans more than 30 years in higher education. He previously served in academic leadership at Ashland University and Mercer County Community College. He also served as a program director in the Division of Undergraduate Education at the National Science Foundation. He has received national recognition from the American Chemical Society and the American Council on Education for his initiative to further student success. Dr. Chang received his undergraduate degree in South Korean, his master's degree from Minnesota State University, and his PhD in chemistry from UCLA. He also did postdoctoral work at Harvard. Please welcome Dr. Chang.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the Northern Virginia Community College, the NOVA Educational Foundation, and especially our NOVA Duong, Nguyen, and Kimmy Young scholars, thank you for your continuous investment in our students who are committed in pursuing higher education. This is the fourth year that the Kimmy Young Foundation has invited NOVA students to apply for these important scholarship opportunities. We are honored to continue to partner with the foundation. NOVA is the second largest community college in the U.S. With 70,000 students on the 6 different campuses throughout the Northern Virginia region. We have a very strong transfer programs, and also we have very strong workforce development programs. So our partners are all here, actually. We transfer about 500 students to UVA annually, and then also about 1,000 students to Virginia Tech, and another 1,000 students to the VCU. And then we have a special partnership with George Mason University. We transfer almost 3,800 students annually. And we do have one special partnership called Advanced Program with George Mason. We started this actually seamless transfer relationship with George Mason about 5 years ago. Now we have about 2,800 students in the program. And this is a national model that a lot of universities and colleges wanted to learn how we do that between the George Mason and the two-year college of the Northern Virginia Community College. We do have a very high percentage of Asian American students. That's very kind of unique among the two-year colleges. 17% of our students are Asian Americans. In fact, actually, that's probably the largest percentage among the community colleges in the West Coast or the East Coast, or the Midwest in the United States. And therefore, last year we applied for a grant to the Department of Education to support Asian American students. Asian American and then also the Native Americans and the Pacific Islanders. So we call it NAPs. We are building the new center for the NAPs actually on our Annandale campus. And that, once that is built, we will have a stronger partnership with the Asian American communities, including the Vietnamese American community. So we are very proud of it. When I was preparing this remark, in fact, actually, I was checking out the Pragmatics website yesterday, and then I was very impressed by 3 words on the first home webpage that says think, innovate, and deliver. I think that our scholars should have to think about that. This is what I emphasize to our faculty and the administrator when we prepare our students in the job market. We have to think and then innovate and deliver. In closing, congratulations to our the scholarship recipients, and also 87 all the scholarship recipients today. Congratulations again. Thank you.
From Northern Virginia Community College, please welcome Silver Scholar Ms. Minh Tu Le. She's a sophomore in health sciences specialization. Ms. Le said she used a Vietnamese proverb, có công mài sắt, có ngày nên kim. The literal translation would be, day after day, perseverance, you can shape a piece of heavy iron into a delicate needle. But I think the really deep meaning is you keep working at it, one day you will accomplish the task that seemed initially impossible. And her scholarship is being presented by Dr. Sung and Ms. Nguyen. I'm sorry, I was taking too long. Presented by Dr. Sung Nguyen. Next, we have Silver Scholar Mr. Stephen Wu. He's a freshman in general health science. He said, success is not the final. Failure is not fatal. It's in the courage to continue that count. His scholarship sponsored by Dr. Sung and Ms. Nguyen and presented by Dr. Sung Nguyen. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Mr. Yoon Tae Kim. He's a sophomore in computer science. He said, a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. His scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Long Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. And the last recipient from North Virginia Community College, please welcome Gold Scholar Ms. Ha Tu Nguyen. She's a freshman in computer science. She said, I will continue to pursue my dream that my parents have sacrificed their livelihood to make it a reality, welcome any challenges, and give back to the community that has given me a home. Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Long Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. And that will conclude my presentation of the award to the recipient from Northern Virginia Community College. We would now begin our presentation to the recipient from George Mason University.
Representing GMU, Dr. Mark Winsberg served as the Provost and Executive Vice President of George Mason University, the largest public research university in Virginia and a Carnegie Research One institution. He joined the university in 2010 as the Dean of the College of Education and Human Development at George Mason University. Prior to Mason, Dr. Winsberg served as the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC, from 1999 until 2010. Prior to NAEYC, Dr. Winsberg was chair of the Department of Counseling and Human Services in the Graduate Division of Education at the Johns Hopkins University and a member of the faculty of both the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences and the Department of Medicine in the School of Medicine. Dr. Winsberg completed his master's degree and his doctorate degree at the Pennsylvania State University after having been awarded a bachelor degree from the State University of New York at Cortland. Dr. Winsberg's career spanned more than 40 years, periods as a professor, psychologist, and skilled administrator. He has published extensively in the areas of education, psychology, human development, and human services. In addition, he has lectured and presented at over 200 conferences, seminars, and other educational, meeting, and professional development events, both with the United States and internationally. Please welcome Dr. Winsberg.
Thanks so much. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to be here today. You know, it has been said, and a wise person once remarked, that education is the most, and among the most important things that we can do to change our world. Another wise person recently said that it takes a village to make a difference. Well, today I want to join all of us here today for thanking Kimmy and Dr. Long for both recognizing the importance and the power of education, but also for being elders and leaders in the village that's making a difference in that regard. So thank you very much to both Kimmy and Dr. Long. Mason has a rich history with Kimmy and her husband, Long Nguyen, and I want to thank them both and the foundation for doing great work, which has changed the lives of so many people, and for both Kimmy and Dr. Long for contributing so generously to university students in our region, and also for contributing so generously in supporting George Mason University in so many important ways, including support for our College of Engineering and Computing, of which our primary building is named for them. I want to also recognize Dr. Ken Ball, who's the Dean of our College of Engineering and Computing, who's here with me today. Thank you. Among the most significant values at Mason are that our students come first and that we thrive together. And indeed, supporting access to our students is among the first ways that we can facilitate their success. At Mason, we also often say that our university is about providing access to excellence. But more importantly, what a university does, and most importantly, what this scholarship continues to do, is to provide not just access to excellence, but to provide access to opportunity. And the 27 students who are here today, we're going to congratulate in a moment, who are joining us at George Mason, the 87 students who are at universities from throughout the region are enjoying both those two avenues of access to excellence and access to opportunity. I'm proud of you all. I welcome you to our university. I join my other colleagues from universities throughout the region in welcoming all 87 of these outstanding young people to universities in our community. And I have no doubt that you will become leaders, you will become influencers, but even more importantly, that you will be instruments of change. You will help to change our community, you will help to change our region, our states, and I hope that you will continue to change the world, because change makers are people who make a difference in their lives, in their communities, and through the consequential work that they train to do, and the consequential work that through their career they will do. And scholarships are powerful. They change lives for the better. By investing in students, Kimmy and Dr. Long have empowered them to pursue their passions and to create vibrant futures. Again, I congratulate you and thank you both. Kimmy is here someplace. I can see her, Dr. Long, for all that you do to support the educational institutions in our community and the students who we anticipate will thrive because of your generosity. Thank you all so very much.
From George Mason University, please welcome Gold Scholar Ms. Betsy Paladares. She's a junior in social work. She used a quote by Mary Parker Follett. Unity, not uniformity, must be our aim. We attain unity only through variety. Differences must be integrated, not annihilated, not absorbed. Her scholarship is sponsored in loving memory of his beloved wife, Ms. Duong Kim Lê, by Dr. Nguyen, and will be presented by Dr. Nguyen. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Connie Lam. She's a freshman in engineering. She said, when I think of Vietnamese tradition, I do not think about the cuisine, the language, or the tradition. I think about the determination from others for the best of themselves, family, and community. Her scholarship also sponsored by Dr. Nguyen in memory of his wife, Ms. Duong Kim Lê. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Alexandra Merida. She's a junior in community health. She said, culture has great impact on who you are as a person, which is why my heritage has impacted me in all aspects of my life. In my Guatemalan culture, and especially in my family, one of our greatest values is family. And her scholarship is sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Dagbaugh and will be presented by Mr. Dagbaugh. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Marsa Amadi. She is a senior in the pre-med program, majoring in neuroscience. She said, everyone has a set of cultural identity, values, or tradition that they feel proud of when they talk about it. As an Afghan immigrant, my heritage values are resilience, perseverance, and service. Her scholarship is sponsored by Mr. Trí Dũng Nguyen and Dr. Xuân Trang Nguyen, and will be presented by Mr. Trí Dũng Nguyen today. Next, we have Silver Scholar, Mr. James Barr. He's a sophomore in film and video study. He said, My Black heritage, whether American or African, is something that is deeply important and something I strive to do at the forefront of who I am. His scholarship is sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Lộc Nguyen and will be presented by Mr. Lộc Nguyen today. Next, we have Silver Scholar, Mr. Vincent Nguyen. He's a junior in communication. He chose a quote by Dale Carnegie. If you want to keep happiness, you have to share it. His scholarship is sponsored also by Mr. and Mrs. Nam Lộc Nguyen and will be presented by Mr. Nam Lộc Nguyen today. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Tracy Chung. She's a senior in biology. She used a Vietnamese proverb, kiên nhẫn là mẹ thành công, patience is the mother of success. Her scholarship is sponsored by Magnato and Carr and would be presented by Mr. Lars Olkensen. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Kim Mo. She's a sophomore in mathematics. She said, I understand what is important to keep our culture, to spread the knowledge and create a diverse community for others, to produce a bigger perspective of the world. Her scholarship is sponsored by Capital One, and on their behalf will be presented by Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Mr. Andrew Quốc Nam Nguyen. He's a junior majoring in computer science. He used a quote by Zig Ziglar. Life is an echo. What you send out comes back. What you sow, what you reap, what you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. His scholarship is also sponsored by Capital One and presented by Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Helen Nguyen. She's a sophomore in information technology. I'm Vietnamese American. I'm very proud of my heritage. In my family, I'm the first to go to college. I want to graduate to make my parents proud of and be able to support them. Her scholarship is also sponsored by Capital One and presented by Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Lillian Nguyen. She's a sophomore in computer science. Being Vietnamese has shaped my whole life. The values that my parents instilled in me came rooted from their Vietnamese culture and experiences. Her scholarship is sponsored by Capital One and presented by Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Diamond Scholar, Ms. Sophia Linh Jung. She's a senior majoring in tourism and event management. She said, I'm forever grateful to have grown in Vietnam and have the opportunity to come to America to study for a better future. I will always try my best to represent Vietnam and to give back to the community as much as possible. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Mr. and Mrs. Chris Glass. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Nguyen. She's a senior in bioengineering. She used a quote by Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Long Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Sophia Nguyen. She's a senior in government and international politics. She said, protect Asian life and stop Asian hate. And her scholarship is also sponsored by Dr. Long Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Yu.
That's my sister.
Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. T. Nam Phang. She's a junior in physics. She said, I'm proud of my Vietnamese heritage. I'm determined to make the world a better place through advancing quantum technology. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Long Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Mai Ngọc Quất. She's a senior in community health. She used a quote by Napoleon Hill. Cherish your vision and your dream as they are the children of your soul, the blueprint of your ultimate achievement. Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Mr. Noel Quesada. He's a senior in criminology and psychology. He used a quote by Reverend Jesse Jackson: "Never look down on anybody unless you are helping them up." In his scholarship, sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Mr. Delusion Sensa. He's a freshman in computer science. He said, "To Americans, I'm an Asian foreigner. To the Mongolian, I'm an American foreigner. As a person, my heritage and experiences go hand in hand to turn me into someone who's glad to explain my background to those who ask that." His scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Kim Trung. She's a junior in Business Management Information System. Patience is a virtue that will take me anywhere. Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Min B. J. Van. She's a senior in computer science. She said, "While I have no direct contact with my Vietnamese relative and heritage now, I still keep in touch what I do remember. Making Vietnamese food to revisit the memory of my Vietnamese heritage and working hard to honor the memory of my mother." Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. We have another Gold Scholar, Mr. Anthony Vo. He's a freshman planning to major in mathematics. Culture doesn't necessarily mean about the tradition of ethnicity. It's also about the value that one shares with each other. His scholarship sponsored, presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Lin Vo. She's a freshman in nursing program. She said, "All cultures are different, and through being a Vietnamese American, I have learned that we are unique in a different way, and that I no longer have to wish that I was different." Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Stephanie Vo. She is a senior in English. She used a quote by Vincent van Gogh: "Normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow on it." Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. We have Gold Scholar Ms. Tiffany Vo. She's a senior in film and video studies. "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. Next, we have Gold Scholar Ms. Valerie Vo. She's a sophomore in chemistry. She said, "From learning the Vietnamese language to Vietnamese tradition, I gained a new set of eyes. When I look at the world, because of my Vietnamese American heritage, I'm a versatile, open, and confident individual." Her scholarship sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. And we have the last recipient from George Mason University. Please welcome Mr. Justin Sombron. He's a sophomore in business. "You only fail when you stop trying." His scholarship sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Duong. That will conclude the presentation for George Mason University.
This is the big good.
Big group, big stage. 1, 2, 3. Amen. Look at the camera over there. Okay. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you. You
congratulations to the recipient from University of Virginia.
Representing UVA, Suzanne McShane, is Director of Development at the University of Virginia. She is a graduate of the University of Virginia McIntyre School of Commerce and received her MBA from the George Washington University. Following a 35-year career in finance with Fortune 50 technology companies, Susan returned to her alma mater to work as a philanthropic advisor, supporting the mission of the university, preparing students to be servant leaders in a diverse and globally connected world, and enabling discovery that enrich and improve life. Please welcome Susan McShane.
Thank you for your most kind and generous welcome, Kimmy and Dr. Long, esteemed board members and other guests. Thank you so much for your bold and generous vision to support students at the University of Virginia and at 6 other institutions in the Mid-Atlantic. On behalf of the University of Virginia, I offer my heartfelt congratulations to this year's recipients of the Kimmy Foundation Scholarship. In 1819, Thomas Jefferson founded the University of Virginia and inaugurated a bold experiment, a public university designed to advance human knowledge, educate leaders, and cultivate an informed citizenry. More than 2 centuries later, this vision is thriving, as it is in all of our institutions. Discussion, collaboration, and enlightenment. These are the ideals to which Thomas Jefferson aspired when conceiving the University of Virginia. In his quest to reinvent higher education in America, Jefferson sought to cultivate an environment in which students and faculty could live and learn from one another. And today, we prepare our students to be servant leaders in a diverse and globally connected world. We recruit and support exceptionally talented, diverse, and service-oriented students, regardless of their economic circumstances. And we strive to attract and support extraordinary students like all of you, from all backgrounds, who have the potential to live their lives of purpose, impact, and service in whatever fields they enter. The Kimmy Duong scholars exemplify these values and are truly living the values and the vision set forth by our founder, Thomas Jefferson. And in closing, we are excited to be a part of your journey and look forward to all that you will accomplish with the support of the Kimmy Duong Foundation. Thank you so much.
From the University of Virginia, please welcome Gold Scholar, Ms. Gabrielle Nguyen. She's a sophomore in nursing. She said, a little progress each day adds up to big results. Her scholarship is sponsored by Mr. Lam Ngọc Pham and Dr. Ngọc Hà Nguyen and will be presented by
her husband.
By Mr. Lam Ngọc Pham and Dr. Ngọc Hà Nguyen. Next, we have Gold Scholar, Ms. Simran Gaheli. She's a sophomore in neuroscience. She said, regardless of our outward appearance, we all have the same impact on the ecosystem. What matters now is how we use our capability to better the world around us. Her scholarship is sponsored by Dr. and Mrs. Kim Nguyen and family and will be presented by Dr. Kim Nguyen. Next, we have another Gold Scholar, Ms. Vivian Cao Dao. She's a junior in interdisciplinary neuroscience. She used a quote by Toni Morrison. If there's a book that you want to read but has not been written yet, you must be the one to write it. Her scholarship is sponsored by Kaiser Permanente and will be presented on their behalf by Ms. Kimmy Yu. Next, we have another gold scholar, Mr. Jonathan Yu. He's a junior in chemistry and cognitive science. He used a quote by Norman Vincent Peale: "Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land among the stars." His scholarship sponsored by Kaiser Permanente and presented by Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. Next, we have gold scholar Ms. Tam Phong Le. He's a freshman in electrical engineering. He said, "A major part of my life for as long as I can remember is weekly community service at my Vietnamese church. And I plan on continue to do these service activities for a majority of my lifetime." His scholarship sponsored by Kaiser Permanente and presented by Ms. Duong. Next, we have gold scholar Ms. Isabel Nguyen. She's a senior in commerce. Even if a mountain is high, there's always a way to reach the top. Her scholarship is sponsored by Kaiser Permanente and presented by Ms. Duong. Next, we have gold scholar Ms. Rachel Lin. She's a sophomore in art and sciences. She said, "The values my mom has installed in me have followed me to this day and encouraged me to become more involved with my community." Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen.
Hi, Rachel.
Next, we have gold scholar Mr. Andrew Nguyen. He's a senior in computer science. He used a quote by Aristotle: "The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet." His scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. Next, we have gold scholar Ms. Julia Nguyen. She's a sophomore in global commerce. She said, "Education is a progressive discovery of our own ignorance." Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. Next, we have gold scholar Ms. Ga Yao Dung. She's a sophomore in foreign affairs. She said, "Take the risk or lose the chance." Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. Next, we have silver scholar Ms. Thuy B. Diu Bui. She's a junior in biomedical engineering. She said, "We were born to not only enjoy our life, but continue to change the world to create a more perfect world for our future generation." Her scholarship is sponsored and presented by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. And we have another silver scholar, Ms. Angela Cristole. She's a sophomore in psychology. "My goal is to open a private practice where I will be able to give children with mental illness the tools they need to navigate the changing world." Her scholarship is sponsored by Dr. Nguyen and Ms. Kimmy Nguyen. And I'm happy to announce that's the end of our presentation and also the recipient for University of Virginia.
Chị thấp xuống chị. Dạ tôi đã thấp rồi mà. Tôi đã thấp rồi. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Justin Pham to join me on stage. And he, on behalf of all his friends today, would like to share some thought and show his appreciation. Justin Pham.
Xin chào quý vị, tên tôi là Justin Pham. Tôi muốn gửi lời cảm ơn đến tất cả cha mẹ, quân khách, quý thầy cô đây. Và chúc mừng các bạn sinh viên nhận được học bổng KDF niên khóa 2022-2023. Most of all, I'd like to thank my parents, my family, the KDF Foundation, and the judges for their support and guidance. Thanks to them, I can strive to excel in my academic pursuits to the best of my ability as a computer science major here at the University of Maryland, College Park. In the future, I would love to use my skills and teachings for my schooling and my Vietnamese scouting heritage and pass them on to the future generation of Vietnamese Americans to prepare them to strive for their uniquely American dreams. I feel gratitude. I am sure that this is a sentiment that my fellow recipients here share. Gratitude towards the KDF and their selfless support of our futures, both financially and as a community. I know for a fact that this scholarship will help lighten the financial burden on my family, and I know that my fellow scholars also share this sentiment. I would like to speak more about the KDF itself. This foundation is unique in their dedication to Vietnamese heritage and history and their careful selection of scholarship candidates. I admire their focus on core Vietnamese values like family, tradition, and service, which allow them to award a unique and deserving pool of students. Furthermore, I would love to commend Nguyen's dedication to the preservation of Vietnamese culture to the new generation of Vietnamese American. On behalf of all the families here in attendance, I would like to extend my gratitude towards Nguyen, her foundation, and the sponsors. And lastly, I would like to congratulate all of the scholarship recipients here. You should all feel proud to be here. Thank you.
Những lời cảm ơn và tri ân của Justin Phạm đã kết thúc chương trình chúng ta nơi đây ngày hôm nay. Em đã hãnh diện cùng với các bạn của mình trong khán phòng này. Tuy nhiên, thiết nghĩ những người không ghép phần hãnh diện, đó là những người thân, các bậc phụ huynh đang có mặt nơi đây, cũng hãnh diện khi thấy con của mình đã trưởng thành, đã biết uống sông, biết thổi đầu nguồn, nghe dòng lục lội mênh mang đất trời, đã biết khoan thai, biết đón cười, mừng con nay đã ra người trước sau. Chúng ta hãy cùng nhau một tràng pháo tay chúc mừng toàn thể các em. Mr. Pham Vinh concludes our ceremony today. Please stand and join us with our final song. Xin quý ông bà chị em hãy cùng chúng ta đồng thanh hát bài Việt Nam để ca ngợi cũng như quảng bá Việt Nam để cho tất cả các bạn, các cộng đồng sân chân khác.
Mời tất cả quý thầy cô. Nán lại để có một vài thức ăn nhẹ cũng như để chào hỏi những người khách ngày hôm nay. Please stay with us for a few more moments. We do have a light refreshment for you ready in the back. Cũng xin we do have a few distinguished guests that we could not recognize all. We do have the Rear Admiral Nguyen from the Navy. we have Navy Captain retired, Captain Cao. We have the ambassador of the INS from our State Department, Mr. Nguyen, the ambassador of citizenship, and we do have the CEO, Duong and Nguyen of SBTN, the largest Vietnamese television in the country. Mời quý vị hãy cùng chúng tôi ở lại và được xin cảm ơn tất cả các bạn trong các đài truyền thông, truyền hình